Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So I've recently received a number of questions about computer towers and e-waste. Are all computer towers built the same way with the same components? Does it matter on size of the computer tower or age? As well, where do I sell my e-waste from electronics? And last question that I want to look at is, what items do I keep or are worth scrapping, taking apart, or selling whole? So I'm gonna answer a couple of those questions. I know there are a lot of them. I do appreciate the questions. They are, I'll try to answer them as best I can. And for beginner scrappers, these are important questions you want to answer and be addressed to. I'm not a computer expert by any means on part names, so if I name something wrong or a component to a computer wrong, I apologize. But I do love computer towers. As you can see, I actually have a small one here. I have more of a modern one. And these two white ones here are actually from the late 90s. Some of the circuit boards they have in them actually have dates on them, so it's obviously easy to recognize when they were made. But I am going to very quickly at the start show you one. This is more of a modern computer tower. As you can see inside of it, here is my giant motherboard. I've got a nice cooling fan. Underneath that, it's going to have a nice aluminum heatsink. There's going to be another aluminum heatsink here, as well as a couple different boxes. And I love computer towers because they are almost 100% scrappable for me. They all have a beautiful outer shell on them that I'm gonna sell as tin shred. And currently right now, tin shred just went back up in Ontario. It is about 16 cents a pound, so that's awesome. This one I've already taken apart, you can see. And these are heavy. This is a good 5 pounds right here, this shell. So this is gonna go into my tin shred. I have had someone actually commented from the States that said tin where they are is actually over $1. So that is amazing. I would love it to be over $1 here. That'd be incredible. But 16 cents a pound. Again, the prices continue to go up, which is an excellent thing for a scrapper, as well as the environment, because you are going to see less things going to the landfill, which is awesome. I'm gonna actually start with, where can you sell these items? I have seen a lot of people, for example, sell parts like this online. This, for example, I've seen on Kijiji, I've seen on eBay. There are a lot of people that will buy computer parts for refurbishing them or rebuilding them. And in order to do that, these ones, for example, do have to have the cables, all of them intact. Once I open that computer shell, these are easy to do. There's just prongs that you pull out. But I have seen people sell these, and this one is actually from more of a modern computer tower. This one I've actually taken, there's two of them here. This came out of the 90s style. I have opened one of them up. It is very similar. You can see the cables inside. The box is a different color, but again, it all depends on the manufacturer, but the components are the same. So I could try selling this one online. Actually, I can't because I've already cut some of the wire, which is okay because for me, I don't sell these on eBay or Kijiji. I will break these down, and I do have one that I'm going to show you in a second. But that is definitely one option. These I've seen online as well, these hard drives, whatever. There is, as you can see, gold there. There is a neodymium magnet inside. There is cast aluminum. But again, a lot of people do sell these parts online, so that is definitely one option. If you are into selling circuit boards and chips, as well as the different gold prongs, another option online is going to boardsort.com, which is in the United States. Golden Money is in Canada. I have their website up a couple times on videos. It does break down different prices, but again, I have not actually sold any of my items online. I've been storing them up. And the reason I do that is because computer towers are an excellent place to find gold, precious metals, in my opinion. Those items I will store up and collect. and hopefully one day either sell it or refine it myself. But that is definitely an option as well. Boardsort.com will take all different circuit boards. You have some that, for example, the long gold stripped ones that you can sell from computers or TVs. BoardSort is very quick to get back to you with any questions, so they are definitely a good place to sell. Unfortunately for me, BoardSort being an American company and I am in Canada, shipping costs could be pricey, so you definitely want to weigh out your options there, see what the best way to ship things are, as well as, you know, factoring in, is it worth the money for the boards, shipping them, or the cheapest option is actually bringing them to the scrapyard, as I do. And before I do that, however, I do take off items, and there are a lot of great items on these circuit boards. As I said, I always keep my items. These are some crystal oscillators that you will find in here on these circuit boards. I have gold, as well as MLCCs, as well as different IC chips. So gonna go through some of the items right now, comparing the different computer towers. I will say in terms of computer towers, answering that question about age, there are some differences, but I will say the main difference is it depends on manufacturer. I have some modern circuit boards right here that I've taken out of other ones, and as you can see, these are two different colors. They have most of the same components, but you will see different types of heat sinks. If you are lucky, you will find a heat sink like that that has a nice copper ingot. That copper is definitely worth taking out. But circuit boards for me in London, when I take them to a scrapyard, I definitely take some of the goodies off. To answer that other question, number one that I love to take off is copper. Copper for a scrapper is our scrapper's gold, if you will. And circuit boards definitely have a lot of it. As you can see, this motherboard here, if you're lucky again, there is an ingot. This ingot actually is gonna weigh about 7 ounces. I do have some different, I call them copper donuts, but all of these have different copper donuts on them as well. Gonna show you one of the ones, so that tower that I showed you, this tower, I opened it up here. You can see this is from a modern computer tower, but look at that beautiful copper here. I've got 1 copper donut, 2, 3, 4. I've got a spool of copper right down there that you can see right there. So that copper, I'm gonna throw that into number 2 copper. I'm gonna pull it off. I have to make sure I break it out of the metallic casing or the magnetic casing, and I will throw that into number 2 copper. And currently number 2 copper right now in London, Ontario is going for $4.48 a pound. Great items. They do add up. As you can see, I've got a nice little collection here of these that I'm gonna break open. You do wanna make sure you check. Some of them do have a casing on them. They can be hard to spot. This one luckily had a top to it, but you definitely wanna check. And again, this number 2 copper adds up, and I just throw it in a bag. I've shown my number 2 bag before. I've got 52 pounds sitting here just from copper motors and copper donuts like this. And the reason I take this copper off, as well as the aluminum heat sinks, for example, is because where I go in London, Ontario, or my scrapyard, they do not pay me different grade depending on the types of precious metals or metals on the circuit board. Some states, some provinces, you do want to check. Some will give you grades, so low grade, medium grade, high grade, depending on what is on it. And high grade being items like precious metals. So if I was to take, for example, this circuit board is going to be high grade because this has some gold right here in this IC chip. There's that prong, and I do have videos showing how to take that off. There is some gold in these USB ports, as well as these cables. These are all gold-plated prongs. As well, I love these things. Here is going to be my nice chip. Look at that beautiful chip. As you can see, that is gold-plated. But I do want to make sure, sorry, I'm going to jump back here. These chips, the ones that do not have the prongs sticking out, so I'm going to show you a couple that I have. these are your different chips that you're gonna find in these computer towers, as well as these small ones, and I'm gonna open that one in a sec. But notice the gold-plated prongs there. This is a different style. It has gold-plated prongs, and this actually says 1997, this was from. So it says on there. This one, again, gold-plated prongs. And I have actually done a video showing on these ones that I can remove these gold-plated prongs with a heat gun. Very easy to do, and I will keep the gold prongs. These ones, however, you do want to check online. The ones that do not have prongs, I have seen these go for over $100 online. So again, I don't know what the reason or the number, but if I look on the back, there is some little bit of, we call it silver, I call it paste. But underneath there are barcodes and different numbers. You do want to check because some of them are very valuable. So that is definitely something that you want to check. But if not, this is still gold. I've seen E-Waste Ben, for example, bring in pounds and pounds of these, and he will get priced just from the weight of these because there is copper. The back there is copper, but that is gold. So these circuit boards that have these different chips are going to be high grade at a scrapyard if they give you different categories. Unfortunately for me, it doesn't matter what's on these. If I bring this into my scrapyard, I'm going to get one price, and it's about 8 to 10 cents a pound. I have seen some people in my area say that they go to a different scrapyard and they get about 26 cents a pound. So again, you definitely want to call around, do a little bit of research on your own. But there is definitely some beautiful gold. As well, these aluminum heat sinks, different size. So I'm just going to pull the cap off of this one. Again, here is 2 aluminum heat sinks. This one here, pulled it off. These are going to be aluminum extrusion. And I did have someone comment on me that aluminum extrusion is aluminum extrusion, doesn't matter. That is incorrect in London, Ontario. It depends on where you are. But in Canada here, in Ontario, they categorize painted and clean. So this extrusion right here is going to be clean because it is the gray or metallic look. If I was to bring in a heat sink, oh, I had one that was blue a second ago. Oh, there it is. So this one, unfortunately, this is painted blue. I do have black ones. So these are going to be separated, and it's not by much. These are about 2 to 3 cents less. So we have painted and unpainted. So again, depends on where you are, but where I take mine to, you can even look online. Zubix in London, Ontario will show painted and unpainted. So wanted to answer and address that comment as well. But beautiful aluminum extrusion here. And this right now is going for $1.58 a pound. These aluminum heat sinks are extremely heavy. These two that I have, this one I just pulled out of a subwoofer. I actually had 2 of them from that. These came out of a subwoofer. These are obviously painted. This is 3.9 pounds. So awesome, awesome thing that I'm gonna take off. Definitely worth taking these parts off of these motherboards because I'm gonna make a lot more money from those. As well, you do want to check your transformers. These transformers here, I could bring these in for 10 cents a pound as is. And the nice thing about that, that's going to be more than I'm going to get for my circuit board. But these two, some of them, if you check, they have a beautiful spool of copper. This one I can see doesn't have a lot of copper spool in it. There's a lot of paper. But if it had a lot of copper, definitely worth taking out that copper. Okay. Going to the 90s style again, there were a couple different circuit boards. This was my motherboard in this one. It did not have actually aluminum or an IC chip in there or one of those big chips. It had actually a different style like this, which was really interesting. This board, there are parts on here that I can sell separately. These IC chips, very easy to pull off. So I'm actually gonna take these off. I put them into a container. And all I actually do is take a knife and I will just peel across the prongs and then pull that off. But these bigger ones for sure, these two, I have seen some motherboards that are actually, these are gold. And I've seen them on Gold and Money. They are a different category, different price. Unfortunately, these are not gold. Here, this board I could sell as is again, but there is definitely here a couple goodies that I do take off. This is some gold prong or gold plated prongs here, if you will, or part of a board. Board source will take all of this. Golden Money will take, for example, these pieces, but you have to be really close to the gold. You have to get as close as you can. It can't be more than 2 millimeters of plastic. But as well, you can see if I turn this, look at those gold-plated prongs. I will definitely take these off. I just hit them from the back with a heat gun. I will make them fall off. And I will put them into a small container, build up my gold, if you will, storage. So beautiful gold there. But this came out of the 90s style. And it doesn't mean that all the 90s have this. Some of them do have your big aluminum heatsink. And some of them, again, depending on the maker and brand. Some of the components are the same as well. Here is my different connector. The different USB, these are going to have your floppy disk ports. Look at that beautiful gold connector on that one. This one, my drive here, I haven't opened it yet, but if I turn it, there you can see, just like a modern one, you've got some gold-plated prongs there. This one, again, this does have cast aluminum on it, but I am going to just, for myself, I always take the gold pins off. I'll just open this circuit board with a screwdriver. I think there's a couple different screws on here. The screws I'm going to put into my screw bin, get the tin on that. But again, all computer towers have an amazing hoard of gold. The gold pins, in my opinion, are definitely worth taking apart for me, being that I don't get much. Look at that. There is some beautiful gold-plated pins. These, again, I just heat up. I will store them. Here is an outer casing of cast aluminum. Showing you a couple different chips, circuit boards. And as you can see, I will mention too with these circuit boards, these do have MLCCs. These orange things here. I have done a little bit of research on MLCCs. You will find them on modern day circuit boards. But one thing I find on the older models, as well as your old CRT TVs, and this is a rule that I've heard, I don't know if it's exactly true, but the rule was if your MLCCs, and I just dropped a couple, unfortunately, if your MLCCs are non-magnetic, then they are the ones that have palladium in them. So this one, for example, you can see a tiny MLCC here. If I take a magnet, here's my magnet, it does not stick. Okay, so apparently these ones you definitely want to separate because these are going to have your palladium. All your MLCCs, again, some of the modern ones putting a magnet to them are going to have a magnetic attraction. These ones, again, do not. And there are larger ones, so I do sort them. And I do see people selling these online to different people, refineries. I've seen some people actually do YouTube videos actually refining them themselves. I don't want to really crush them up, but I will sell them. Just like my crystal oscillators, I do sell these as well online, or I can. You can see there is a nice stack. And circuit boards definitely have these on them. If I take this up to the camera again, I'm going to look. There's one right there. There's a crystal oscillator. Some of them, there's another one. There's another one. There's 3 of them there. Some of them have 3, some have 4, some have the larger. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you definitely want to look, but the gold I definitely take off. As well, I have seen people sell online the RAM sticks. Okay, so here, some of the motherboards will have them. Some people will actually open up the cover and take them out. But I have seen these being sold online as well, depending on the memory on these. These are, what do I got here? 5 or, I don't know, it doesn't say, should. Usually it'll say 1 gig or 2. These ones I don't think have much on them. It says 512 MB. Doesn't see a G on there, so they might be lower value. But again, these do have the gold plated. I have seen these being sold online. To boardsort.com will buy them, or people that are building or rebuilding computers. Okay, so again, some more styles, the MLCCs. I often find, obviously the modern ones here, my USB ports, I love these because as you can see, look at that beautiful prongs here. Okay, the older style, again, not many people have the older styles, so I'm not gonna spend too much time looking at it, but here again is some more of your gold-plated fingers. There's some ports right here. If I pull that switch out, there's some more gold I'm gonna take out. As well as this is just gonna be a floppy disk port or something. CD drive on this one. The CD drives are built the same. I will take off the gold. As well, when I open it, you can see there is a brass that's got a motor, this brass connector. I do take that brass and put it into my yellow brass. The rest of this, once I remove that and the small copper motor, which is right there, there's another one here, I will put those into my copper bearing motors for 10 cents a pound. But an interesting thing you do want to check is the ribbon for the eye here. If I pull that ribbon, I'm gonna pull it right now if I can get it out, pull it. This one you can see is a gold color. That is gold plated, so that means this port is gonna have gold in it. I will cut that off and put it into my gold pile. There's a little bit of gold in there. As well as this ribbon, I do cut the top of that. That is gold plated ribbon, so I will put that into that as well. And the rest of the casing and the rest of this photo eye stuff, I will just throw this into my e-waste and this into my tin, which is awesome. But the last question asking, are the smaller ones built the same? I will say mostly yes. There again is my heat sinks from, this is the older model. These are painted black, so I gotta make sure that I separate them. But you still have your copper donut there. This one just has a warning, danger, high voltage. These are aluminum capacitors. I don't take these off. They're not worth separating. But this one, you can see, does have a small copper winded transformer. So this one I do break open, and I will take the copper out of that because it's worth it for sure. But the last question, here's my smaller computer tower. Gonna open it, just remove the plastic. And this one, because I'm scrapping it, not selling it, I am just gonna remove right now the different prongs, just gonna cut them off. These pieces, I will put these into low grade wire, but the bottom here, I will open this up because there is, if I open it, there you go. There is some gold prongs that I do cut out and I will put into my gold. The wire here, the rest of this wire, you do want to check. I'm opening it. If you cut this open and you see a metallic look, which I see here, this is because these wires are aluminum wires. They're not copper. So you definitely don't want to put this into your copper wire. We have 40% and 60%. This, because it's aluminum, this goes into low grade wire, which is going for about 90 cents a pound Canadian. If this was copper, this would be going into my 60% copper recovery because it only has one coating of plastic on it, and they look at plastic to copper ratio and copper recovery. So the rule, one layer of plastic, higher value. But again, don't put this into your copper because they will downgrade you. Okay, you have right here your motherboard, if you will. I'm gonna just cut this open. Gonna open this up just by cutting it. Okay, just gonna pull it. There is, look at that aluminum heat sink here. Underneath this, this is beautiful. I gotta remove the screws, but look at the copper shell here. You can see the copper. I do have one somewhere, but I will open this in a little bit. Another video, oh, here's one. Oh, sorry. So as you can see, here is another one. Look at the nice copper here. This copper is going to be once I get it out of there, number 1 copper. It is definitely going to be worth more than my number 2. As well, the rest of this, I could actually throw this into my aluminum copper radiator pile, radiators that you get, for example, dehumidifiers, and get, I think, $2.40 a pound. I find it very difficult to separate it all because they are intertwined, and I do have to do some cutting on that. But definitely want to get my number 1 copper there as well. But that is awesome here. There's some copper in this one. Here, again, are some more of my wires. There is my big gold chip. We'll see what kind it is. It's just gonna be lift the lip. Here we go. This is my like revealing party, if you will. There you go. That is, so this has no gold prong sticking up. So again, I wanna make sure I look at the back of that. This could be my $100 chip, I don't know. And I have not sold any yet. I've just seen them online. People saying that that's what they're worth because, again, I don't know why, but that'd be awesome. But the other thing too is I do cut out, this is also gold here. I will cut that out. I have another chip here. These chips I will take. Here's another aluminum heat sink. Underneath these aluminum heat sinks, there's gonna be another chip like this. So I do take those off. They are worth money. I see a couple memory sticks here. Here's some RAM. Open that up. I got 2 of these, and I will pull the rest out, but here again, so this one, there you go. There's another chip here, or RAM stick. These are sold as well. There's 2 of them in here I can see, but very similar. Okay, this one again has different circuit boards that I have to take out that are gonna have gold prongs on them. Okay, so I know that was a lot. I feel like the Roadrunner there blabbing, but good questions, a lot of questions. Depends on the maker or where they're made. Again, I've got a Dell here. I have a TCT Storm. I have a Hewitt. Here is another, this is an Intel. I think this is the Dell as well. Yes, it is. I've got a couple over there that are Acer. So again, depends on the maker, what they have on it. A lot of them will definitely have the same similar components, but again, a great source of scrappable material. You definitely have to find out where, depending on where you live, what is the best option on how to sell. But again, in my opinion, where I live, it is the best option to take off the copper and the gold and salvage as much as I can before I bring the circuit boards into the scrapyard, because I'm going to make more money separating those items than bringing in the board whole. And again, copper, gold, crystal oscillators, a lot of great things on here and a great item to find. And the best thing obviously is as well is almost 100% scrappable. So hopefully that answered a couple questions. Please continue asking away. I will do my best to answer those questions. Love, the feedback and the scrapping community. And again, great time to be scrapping with high prices. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.